Okay, here we are again with a new track. This is also going to be in E, but it's going to be a much more rocking affair. Okay, now we're going to take the hybrid picking into a different area now. Previously, we were looking at more sort of country and country rock ideas, even though they can be used in other styles. But this is going to be something that's much more of a rock type of deal. Okay, and the first lick that we're going to look at is down here using the 3rd and 5th fret on the B string, and then using the open E against the lick. So, as always, I'll just show you what I'm going to do, then we'll explain. The way this is going to work is I'm going to play this 3rd fret on the B string, then I'm going to hammer up to the 5, and then come down and pull off like that. So, okay, but every time I do the lick, I strike that 3rd fret on the B string. Now, some of you may recognise that from a sort of Angus Young type idea. A lot of rock players use it. You can, you don't need to pick every note if you don't want to. And if you're not familiar with that technique, it might be best to get that down first. And then what we're going to add to that, okay, is a high open E every time we play it once. Now, when I play these type of licks, I don't really think of them in terms of, playing in time. It's just kind of like, going as fast as you can. A little bit like the sort of Joe Satriani legato type of idea. He's not really thinking in terms of rhythm, okay? I mean, you can get a rhythm going with this particular track, but it's quite acceptable to just kind of go nuts on it. Okay, doing that type of thing. Okay, so first of all, practice that one, and then once you've got that down, we'll start to move it through different positions. So the first position is going to be 3 to 5 on the B. We can go down to, 2 to 3 on the B string. Then we move up and play 5 to 7 on the B. Okay, then we go 7 to 8 on the B string. Then we go 8 to 10. Then 10 to 12. Now this lick starts to get harder as you go up, and I normally tend to stop around there, but you can do the 12 to 15 on the B as well if you care to. But as these notes start to get higher on the B string, the sort of high E, open high E string tends to lose its effect a little bit, I think. Okay, it's a really nice lick, and as I say, it's a good way of making, if you did it with the pick, it would be a lot harder, but having that extra finger there to do that, for me, makes it way easier. So let's play it along with the track, see how it sounds. Okay, so what you saw me do there was play a little solo, using the idea, moving through the positions. And now hopefully you can hear that the hybrid picking is not sounding like a generic country idea. It's starting to be useful, in other styles. Okay, we're going to look at what I call some barring licks now. Now what that means is we're going to bar over 2 strings with first finger of our left hand. In this case it's going to be 10 on the B and 10 on the high E. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to use the plectrum to strike the first note, which is going to be that 10B, and then we're going to hammer up to 11 and 12 on that same string. But when we finish that part of the passage, we're going to pick with the second finger again. Okay, that 10 high E. Now you can pretty much use this idea wherever you want, as long as you've got 3 notes on the B string, okay, and then a note on the high E string that you can use to sort of jump off of, as it were. Then, you know, it's really up to you where you want to use it. You know, you can use it in a more major way here, going F sharp, G, G sharp on the B string, and then using that B on the 7th fret high E string as the jumping off note. And then if I want to come up and say play a minor type lick, which would be 12, 14 and 15 on the B, and then using that high E. There's lots of places you can use it, you can experiment. Okay, now I'm going to show you another way that you can use this lick as well, just adding a little bit more to it. It sounds like this. What I'm doing there is the same idea, but instead of repeating the first part over and over, I'm doing that 12, 14 to 15. Using my second finger to pick that high note. Then I'm coming down and then playing 15, 14, 12 on the B, and then that 15 on the G. Now you've got 2 choices on the G string there. You can play it with the plectrum, or you can simply slam your finger onto the note. Some people call it hammer-ons from nowhere. But I think for me, the rhythm of the lick, I like to actually play it. And you can do that same idea on the first lick that we learned. Because the nature of using that second finger, it allows you to build up that speed much more. And we can even use it on the major position we discussed earlier, going 7, 8, 9 on the B. You know, and you can kind of mix them up, which is nice. So anyway, let's have another play with the backing track, use a few of these ideas and see how they sound. Okay, you saw me doing some of the barring licks there, and hopefully that's given you some ideas to use the hybrid picking in that way. And you may have also noticed that I threw in the lick from the previous track in a more kind of rock attitude sense, the one that we learned. Which hopefully went in really nicely. Okay, we're going to look at a lick now, and we're going to start to use 2 fingers on the right hand. Lick's going to be in E, down in the first position, near the nut, and the lick is going to sound like this. Okay, so what we're doing is we're taking the third finger of our left hand and we're sliding up from second to fourth on the G string. Then we're using the two fingers on our right hand, being the second and third, to play that third fret on the B and the open high E. Okay. Then we slide that third finger of the left hand down, pull off from second to open, and then we play that second fret on the D string. So that's the first part of our lick. Now we're going to use the hybrid picking again by hammering from open G to first G, and then the second finger is going to play that open high E string. So far. And as that part of the lick is ringing, we're going to move this first finger up a fret to the second fret, and then we're going to play this little figure. Okay. What we actually do there, we move it up, then hammer on our second finger, pull off, and then take our first finger off to the open G. Okay, so I'll do it really slowly for you. Okay. Okay. So you see how that second finger hammers on, pulls off, first finger pulls off, then we finish on that second fret on the D string. Then we pull that note off to the open D, then we pull second A off to the open, then pull third low E to the open, and then finish on that second fret D string. Okay, it's just a great blues lick, and there's a lot of variation and things that you can mess around with this. I mean, that's the basic lick there, but you can kind of, you know, repeat the first part. Okay, now I'm just going to extend that lick a little bit further before I do a solo demonstrating. So if we're using this, we can move that up, okay? So the first one's going to be 4-3 open high E. Second one's going to slide up and play 6 on the G, 5 on the B, and then the open E. Then we can slide that up, okay? Now we have 9 on the G and 8 on the B, open E. And then go all the way up and play 13 on the G, 12 on the B, and the open high. Okay? Okay, and then use that in conjunction with the lick that we learned and some variations. Let's have a little play with the backing track, see if we can make some sense. You saw me do the lick there, you saw me do some variations using the two fingers on the right hand as well as the pick, and another thing I sort of threw in for good measure was, you know, doing some hybrid picking, just using the pick and second finger, but not using the open E on those shapes. Okay, so lots of fun to be had with those. Okay, it's time to put all the techniques we've learnt in this section into practice, so let's play along with the backing track and see how it sounds. Okay, there you have it, a solo encompassing all the techniques from this section, and hopefully we've been able to hear how the hybrid picking in a more rock kind of blues format works very well.